This just happened. A story so disturbing, so explosive, that it's shaking the very foundations of federal law enforcement. An ICE raid in California has turned into a full-blown tragedy, with lives lost, communities shattered, and Washington reeling. Welcome back to American Info, the only channel that dares to say what others won't. Let's break this down. Early this morning, in what was supposed to be a standard immigration enforcement operation, ICE agents stormed a facility in rural California, targeting undocumented workers allegedly tied to fraudulent identity papers. But what happened next? Yes, confusion, and then gunfire. Multiple individuals, including 2 workers, were killed in what witnesses are now calling an unnecessary and unprovoked escalation. One agent reportedly opened fire after a confrontation at the entrance. And now questions are pouring in. Was this a lawful action or a federal disaster? And here's the part they don't want you to hear. Sources inside the DHS are already scrambling. There was no proper coordination with local law enforcement. There was no medical team on standby. And worst of all, there's evidence the targets of this raid weren't even at the location at the time. So what was this really about? Optics? Intimidation? Or something far darker? A broken system using fear and force instead of facts and justice. Now the Biden administration is on defense. Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, when asked about the deaths, fumbled through a half answer, blaming legacy policies and promising an investigation. But let's be honest, this didn't start with Trump. And it sure didn't start with Biden. This is a systemic failure, decades in the making. We've built a federal immigration machine that operates with little oversight, vague directives, and massive power. And now that machine has taken lives on American soil. Civil rights groups are furious. Local leaders are calling for resignations. And across California, especially in immigrant-heavy communities, fear is turning into fury. They're not just angry about what happened. They're angry that no one is taking responsibility. Families torn apart. Children watching their parents get dragged away. And now, people are dead. And ICE, silent. No full briefing. No apology. No accountability. But here's where it gets even more explosive. Multiple whistleblowers inside ICE are now speaking out. Leaked memos reveal agents were under pressure to boost deportation metrics before the quarter ends. Let that sink in. Lives traded for numbers. And this isn't some fringe theory. It's backed up by internal comms, agent logs, and field reports now making their way into the hands of journalists and lawmakers. This wasn't enforcement. It was a performance. And now it's a crime scene. So what happens next? Congress is demanding answers. Lawsuits are already being drafted. And trust in federal immigration enforcement, what little was left, is collapsing. But will anyone at the top pay the price? Will the Biden White House own this? Will DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas finally step down? Or will this be swept under the rug, like so many other scandals? You already know the answer. This is a tipping point. A reckoning is coming. Because the American people, no matter their background, won't tolerate death as policy. We are a nation of laws, yes, but we are also a nation of conscience. And right now, that conscience is screaming for justice. This was today's urgent update from American Info. If you're outraged, if you want accountability, then don't let this story disappear. Hit that like button. Share this with your network. Subscribe for more truth the media won't touch. And drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think ICE has gone too far? Or do you believe the government has lost control of its own agencies? Until next time, stay loud, stay brave, stay American.